What's new, YouTube? Cold Covers here, back with a brand new video. And today, as y'all can tell by the title, we're going to be going over the full client cover art process. I'll be showing you from start to finish in a PowerPoint presentation format. And without further ado, let's get into the video. But hold up. Before we get started, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below. Join the crew. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, y'all, as you can see on the screen, we have the PowerPoint presentation right here. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, why cover art matters, right? So, I believe cover art matters because it gives viewers a first impression before listening, helps build brand and visual identity, helps visualize your story, and also creates a timestamp / capsule, right? So, getting into this main point right here, it gives viewers a first impression before listening, right? You want to stand out as much as possible, right? As an artist, you're competing with so many different things. Not only are you competing with artists, but you're also competing with other forms of media. You know, there's always a new show coming out. There's always a new movie coming out. There's always something new coming out, right? Even in news, you know, there's always something happening. So your job is to get as many people pulled in and invested into your art or / music as much as possible, right? You want to get as many listeners as you can. So having a cover art not only represents your brand, it also represents who you are as a person, and it also represents you and your story, right? So these three kind of tie in together, right? So by creating a first impression, you're also establishing your brand and you're also establishing your story. So that's all important, right? And as you can see, if we take a look at some of these albums down here, right? These are very symbolic. They're very, they tell stories, right? We take a look at this Nas one specifically. This is Nas as a kid and a reflection of how he grew up in Queens, right? Then we take a look at this Kendrick. You can see Kendrick as a baby and all the influences that were around him at a young age and how they shaped and molded him into the person he is today, right? If we take a look at J. Cole, it looks like he's looking at something, right? He's looking to the future potentially, or maybe he's reflecting on the past, right? And you can hear that through the music. So this gives us great visual representations of, you know, who these people are, where they're at in their time, where they're at in their lives, and what to expect on the album, right? And even if we take a look at this graduation piece, you can see that Kanye, this is supposed to be a representation of Kanye, and he's being launched up from this institution back here in the sense of graduation. So he's graduating from the old stage of life and into a new stage of life, right? So these all kind of give us a sense of what to expect and what we're about to listen to. And while they do that, they simultaneously create timestamps and capsules, right? A lot of people can recall where they were when these albums came out, and just even if it doesn't even have to be these albums in particular, usually people remember where they were when a lot of albums come out, right? They knew the exact moment that they hit play and stuff like that. Recently for a J. Cole album, I remember where I was when The Fall Off dropped, right? I was in my bed, it was like 12 at night, I was waiting for The Fall Off to drop. And when I first heard it, I didn't like it at all. But as I kept listening to the album, it grew on me. So that's just an example of creating a timestamp and a time capsule, right? In people's brains. So they'll always, whenever they see these cover arts, they know about the work that was done and they know about the music and they can reflect on it. And that just creates this constant loop, right? Of visual, music, listeners, repeat, right? So I think that's why cover art matters. Why should you invest, right? So I broke it down to 4 points here. stand out from competitors, creates controversy, pleasing for listeners, and perceived value. So stand out from competitors, man. Like I said earlier, a lot of people are competing for your attention. YouTube, Spotify, movies, TV, Apple TV, Netflix. Man, you want to stand out from all that entertainment as much as possible. And the way you do that is by not only creating great music, but also having great representation of the great music that you just put in, right? Why create great music and stuff like that and just for you to not take the artwork serious, you know? You're kind of like shorthanding yourself, right? So you want to stand out as much as possible. And also, I read recently that according to Music Business Worldwide, there's an average of 106 uploads on DSPs per day, right? So there's 106,000 uploads per day via DSPs, right? So you gotta stand out as much as possible. And that's not even breaking down the logistics. How many of these people are using AI cover arts? How many of these people are using photography cover arts? Which there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think anything is wrong with that. It's just, if you want to take it to the next level, you want to take your brand seriously, I think investing in cover art will really help you, right? Because it gives people visual representation before they listen, right? It helps people invest before they fully invest into you as a person and your artwork and, your music. So, and also another article, according to Billboard, Deezer, French streaming company a lot of people know about, they reported that 75,000 AI songs are uploaded daily. So now you're competing with AI, right? And we also seen Timbaland create an AI entertainment company and also sign an artist. Oh, let me refresh this up. And also sign his first artist as well. So you're competing with a lot of people, essentially. That's all I'm trying to say. So why not make it a little bit easier and have a visual representation that represents you, the music, and your story. So creates controversy. A lot of these album covers, even if we look back to the album, if we go back a page, right? Let's go back. These cover arts create controversy, right? It gives people something to talk about because not only are you pulling them in, but they're curious, right? I'm curious to see, what specifically was going on. Why are these guys, faces blurred out, right? In Kendrick's cover art. Why is J. Cole sitting on top of a roof? Why is Nas, why did he use a picture of his childhood, a picture from his childhood over for his cover art? And, it creates controversy, right? So you want to create as many talking points, you want to have as many people invested into your piece as much as possible. And what I mean by your piece is your music. So pleasing for listeners, right? When you're creating music, you want to always have the listener in mind with whatever you do, right? Because essentially that's what you're creating the music for. That's who's going to get you paid, right? So you want to be on their side as much as you can. So it's important to make sure you're giving them as much value as they're giving you, essentially, or will give you, right? So it's also pleasing for the listeners. It also gives them something to look at, which is always nice. And it gives you perceived value, right? So people can't really detect what's valuable and what's not valuable, right? You can only have a sense of ideas, right? So if Burger King comes out with an advertisement and the Whopper looks so good with the visuals they do, with the cinematography and the camera work, and the burger looks so good, and then you go out and buy the burger and it's trash, well, that's just an example of bad product, but they had to get you to believe that it was good by the visual representation. That's the only reason why you went out and bought that burger. The same works here, right? So you want to have a cover art that's visually represents, and it's a high quality, right? Not saying you know, now if you're gonna do that, you don't want to have trash music, right? You want to have fire music. So you want to have quality cover art and quality music. The same works here, right? So if somebody sees a high quality cover art that makes them feel an emotion, then they're most likely gonna click on your album or click on your single and, you know, see what you have to say, right? The same works, whether it's good or bad, because music is subjective at the end of the day. What's good to you is not gonna be good to me, and what's good to me is not gonna be good to you. So, you know, but as long as you get a general consensus of people saying that they like what you're doing and what you're saying, then that's all that really matters, right? How does the process work? So the process works. This is how the process works. First and foremost, you have to send me a direct message via Instagram, or now actually I prefer Instagram, y'all. So send me an Instagram DM at Cold Covers, right? You send me a message. Then as soon as I get an idea, I get a feel for, you know, what you specifically want, then we'll get into the deposit. So for me to start any piece, I need a 50% deposit to start. I know I didn't wish I had to do this, but time is money, right? And I value my time, so I do need 50% upfront for whatever work we do. And I have a price list on my Instagram as well. You guys can check that out at Cold Covers, right? It'll be linked in the description down below this video. I'll have a whole bunch of links to my social media platforms as well. Then after I give you after you send the deposit, I'll have you fill out a Google questionnaire. So in this questionnaire, and I'm gonna show you guys the questionnaire actually. Give me 1 second. All right, so just a quick look at the questionnaire, y'all. So it's a basic questionnaire. It just gives me an idea of what you're going for, right? And what you specifically want. So I have you type in your artist name, project name, contact email, date of release, what the cover art is for, and specifically what style you're going for. I have a range of styles, y'all. From abstract to minimal to collage into photo manipulation. Those are the 4 styles I do, right? And yeah, so I'll have you guys fill out this questionnaire. There's a couple more questions on here as far as like colors and text, and yeah, so that's part of the process, right? Filling out that questionnaire, that's key, right? That's really important for me. Helps me have an idea of what you want specifically. So after that, I'll get into a sketch slash a rough draft. I'll show you guys some sketches and rough drafts actually in a second. Right after this slide, I'll show you guys. And then after we do the sketch slash rough draft, I'll usually go into the final artwork slash final piece, right? And I'll give you a chance to give me some critiques and revisions. But I have right here, do not abuse, because a lot of people can take advantage of this, right? So to cut down on it, I have to charge for extra revisions, right? So I usually do the first 2 for free. Then anything after that, there will be a charge on top of your final price, right? Then after all of that is done, is the final delivery via email slash iMessage, right? I have to do it on email or iMessage for the better quality. I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable sending me their number, so that's why I have email also as an option. And the reason is just for quality, right? I can't really send stuff through. I can send it, but it's just not going to be the best quality, right? And you really want quality when it comes to art. So, but all right, let's take a look at some rough drafts, right? All right, y'all. Here are some examples of the rough draft slash final stages for cover art that I've created, right? So if we take a look at Mac and Carter, right, the first one right here, you can see the full process. This is how I started the first cover art, right? This was the first attempt. I'm just trying to get a feel and an idea for what I'm about to create. This for specifically for this piece, it was supposed to be Indianapolis theme, right? So they really wanted to put emphasis on where they're from. So I had to do a little bit of research of the culture and of Indianapolis itself, and I found out that Indianapolis is very big on sports, right? So that was the theme I was going with this one. I was wanting to represent the city and also represent sports culture because it's really big there. And yeah, so that's what I was going for. As you can see right here, we have the Indianapolis Colts Stadium. Then on this one, this was the second draft, not finalized neither, just an idea. We kind of had the same idea of this road looking thing, right? And then we had the stadiums in the back plus the city. I believe this was like the Indy 500. That's what they're popular for, and the Fever WNBA building. So we kind of blended these two in there, and this is how the final one came out, right? This was the final cover art. Definitely a little bit of manipulation with collage, but mainly collage with the road map here in the back, the Mac and Carter on the front, the scribbles in the back as well. Then we have the Indy 500 race going on while the Pacers are playing, while the city is in the back, right? So definitely an experimental piece, definitely different, and a standout piece at that, right? This visually stands out. This is visually appealing, right, to people. So another example down here would be the 5-star. This is most recent client I had. Shout out to Six Soul. But this is how we first started. I just first started with this car. I didn't even put the people in yet. And we had this sunset setting kind of vibe, you know. The idea for this was you and your homie going to a party, right? And you see a cute girl at the party, you're nervous to talk to her, and you don't really want to go up to her, but your homeboy, he pipes you up, right? He gives you that confidence, and then you go over there and do that, right? So at first, I didn't really understand that, because at first I put a girl here, so I thought this was like, you know, a guy and a girl going to a function, but we changed that, as you can see in the final, where we have two bros going to a party, and it's a beach party, you know, beach vibes. That's kind of like how the song sounds as well. If you ever listen to this song, it's very vibey, very vibrant, and also a little bit of laid back to it, you know, a little bit of relaxation to it as well. So definitely check out the song. And yeah, as you can see, we were just going through the attempts here. And actually, I did a live stream for this cover art when I first started. Boy, this was like a full process. I kid you not. Like this, if you were to first see this when I first started, you would be like, no way that turned into this. And I wish I had an example, but you guys should definitely check out the live stream. It's still active on my channel. I believe it was the Drake live stream. I think I did like a Drake segment to begin with, then I ended with this 5-star piece. So definitely go check out that live stream if you guys are interested in seeing the process, because I kid you not, you're probably like, whoa. If you go look at that live stream and then come back and look at this video, right, you're gonna be like, man, you're gonna be amazed, because I literally started from scratch. Like I was making the assets from scratch, essentially, right? So these are just some examples of some rough drafts, and yeah, let's go back here. All right, what will you receive, right? So after everything is done, the final product, you'll receive a 3000 by 3000 PNG image of the cover art, and you'll also receive a promotion. So currently I have 804 followers on IG. So I also do music promotions for all of my clients, right? If you get a cover art with me, I'll make sure to promote it on my social media platforms, and I'll make sure to shout you out as well. And I'll also post it on my page as well. You're also receiving high quality art created by me, and you also receive real-time updates. I like to stay up to date and keep my clients up to date. You know, I don't really like to keep keep my clients in the dark, right? I want to let them know what's going on, when I'll have things done, a rough estimate. Even if I'm falling behind on the dates, right? I'll still give like an estimate of where I'm at with the process and how things are going on and what it's looking like. And I showed you that example in the last slide, right? I showed you guys how, art is not linear, right? Art is not linear, right? And we can go back and this is a live example of, art takes time, right? This is not a linear process. This probably took me the full 7 days, right? And so did this one. This took me the full 7 days as well. Art is not linear, A lot of people think that you can come up with a piece, on this, and sometimes you can, right? Everybody's creative process is different, but for me specifically, it does take me a little bit of longer time, and it does take me that full 7 days sometimes because I have to think about a lot of stuff, right? I think about impact, I think about the listener, I think about what I want to create too, because this is also representing me as well and my art and my skill level, right? So I have a lot of things to consider, and yeah, just know that art is not linear, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you can go to the studio and make a song in the night doesn't mean I can go in tonight and make something, just as great. Even when I even explain this process to artists, right? A lot of people think that I can make something just as fast. Well, you didn't take that same amount of time. The same amount of time you're requiring me to make something didn't take that time for you to create the album, right? So you can't rush greatness. Everything has to be timed. Everything has to be planned. And yeah, I just have to say that. So please, potential clients, please do your best to not pander me and not, be on me as much, right? Because, art takes time, man. It does. So that's what you'll receive. And last but not least, why me? Why should you book with me, right? So I believe God has given me a great gift in being able to tell stories through empathy. I can put myself and other people's situations and their mindsets and kind of understand what they're going through and what kind of pain and what they're dealing with, right? It's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because sometimes, I'll be sad for somebody else and whole time my life is fine, right? You know what I'm saying? But I can feel what they're going through. So I'm like, that just ruins my day, right? So it's a blessing and a curse. It has its moments, but I'm able to put that into the art, right? I'm also experienced. I've worked with several artists over this 4-year term that I've been creating for. As you can see, I've been doing this for 4 years, 2 months, and 19 days. And, I could just say that. But no, if you really go back to if you go on my Instagram and look at my first cover art that I ever made, it was a Polo G cover art. That was April 22nd in 2022, right? So I've been doing this for a little minute. Brand visual identity, I believe I have the capabilities of representing brands and representing people to the best of my ability, right? Based off of what's been given to me. So I believe that I do that the best. You know what I'm saying? Proven testimony. If you look on my page as well, there's reviews from clients, right, that I've worked with. And I've shown you guys real examples too of paid clients too, where, I walked you through the full cover art process. But I have proven testimony as well. Many people like my pieces. Many people tell me, even if I'm just going out and somebody recognizes my art, or when I do show my art to people, they like it, right? And I could just say this just to say it, because I'm always going to tell you the positive stuff. I'm not really going to tell you the negative, right? But I have proven testimony, right? And I'm not just saying it to say it. That's what I was saying, right? And collaboration. I believe in collaboration. Every client piece that I've done is a collaboration, right? It's a collaboration between our two brands. I want to merge our two brands together. I want to work more on your visuals, right? I don't just want to do one visual for you. I want to do multiple visuals for you, right? And what would be cool is if we can do multiple visuals and they all tell one story, right? That would be dope. That would be the dream, right? But for right now, I just want to work on, you know, establishing who you are as an artist, establishing your brand, establishing your story, and establishing your music, because at the end of the day, the listener is the most important, right? We're both trying to captivate the listener, me as an artist and you as a musical artist. We're both trying to get them to click on your piece, right? On your album. So, and with that being said, that's going to be the end of the PowerPoint, y'all. That's the end of the PowerPoint right here. If you guys have any questions, you can DM me or you could comment on this video as well. I'll answer any questions that you guys have. So here's my Instagram account right here, y'all. Currently at 804 followers. And we have all kinds of art pieces up here, man. And you can see I've been doing this for a long time, right? I've been doing this for a long time, right? And I have some reviews here. These are the testimonies I was talking about. You see, this is the price list that you guys can check out as well. And also, I want to mention that if you guys didn't like, or you guys, not even that you didn't like, but if you guys didn't see anything that you liked, or you just want something quick to upload, we also have pre-made cover arts on the Gumroad website as well. So if you type in coldcovers.gumroad.com, you can purchase one of these cover arts right here. They're all pre-made cover arts in case you need something quick, fast, and in a hurry. They're starting at $15. If you want to make any alterations to them, like say if you want to change the song name, say if you want to change the artist name, it's $5 per change. So ultimately, this will probably cost you, like, if you do the name change and the artist name, it'll probably cost you like $25 at most, right? Unless you want to, now if you want a concept change, like you want to go off of this idea, but you want a different concept change, then we're gonna have to talk about that in the DM, right? But we also have pre-mades available. So if you guys are interested in those, I will leave those here as well. And yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video, right? So, all right, y'all, that's gonna be the end of today's video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below. Join the crew, and without further ado, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.